Wow. Yeah, man. Syphilis, man. We're just surfing the wave. Man, can y'all feel it? Can y'all feel the energy in the atmosphere? The connection, man, to tribe up. Hey, hop to everybody that's tribing up with their sisters and their brothers. You know what I mean? Developing a flow, developing a plan. And that's what we doing, man. AI to the prisoners behind the wall. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all behind the wall. Allow why. We're ethering up though. It's redemption season. Hey, did Columbus follow a nymph? What does this pathway have to do with the ether? And what does the ether have to do with the Ethiopians? Man, love the natural by law. Click the link below. Get the drop on the latest from Natural by Law in the classroom. Supernaturalists. Let go. Ether Squatta. Season 4 dropping soon. We just taking the flow, just flowing, just being floetic, talking about Saint Syphilis, connecting Saint Syphilis with the nymph of Columbus, following the ether pathways of his gods that can't fuck with the ether though. They just are, swimming through temporary portals. I mean, you've been surfing the wave, man. Columbus is a hero. And Syphilis, but a pastor who was nearly sacrificed. Get the drop, man, that we, dug into Estebanico, St. Stephen, the Christ child carried by St. Christopher. Who is Estebanico? Who is Stephen the Christ? Because St. Stephen carried a Christ child across the water, right? But was he following a pathway? Was he tapping into the ether? In doing so, the Renaissance poet creates a tension arising from a different sort of juxtaposition. All right, well, let's go right here, man. Let's go right here because, this got all the drop. This got all the drop on Columbus and the Nymph. Let's go. Francis Toro has intricately interwoven the parts. He begins with Columbus, the great-hearted hero, right? So Columbus is Christ of Ophir, Christopher, Christ of Ophir, right? So when your brothers say Christ, follow Christ, ask them which one. Because Titus is Christ, Columbus is Christ, Stephen the Christ, Daniel the Christ, David the Christ. Which one? This ain't no unique title. Which one? Which sun or which moon? The moon in the guise of a nymph, and we got that nymph drop. You know what I'm saying? When you look up, Columbus, nymph, it starts connecting with this weird mermaid type of drawings. You know what I mean? All this stuff. Nymph, did I spell it right? Nymph. You know what I mean? Let's just put Columbus nymph. I don't know. Columbus nymph. Oh, man. Let's see what we get, what kind of images we get. All right. Okay. Some type of, is that a hornet? Is that some type of disease, man? Oh, snap. Is this some type of plague, man? Oh, man, we're just digging on Saint Syphilis and we got this disease plague situation. All right, water nymph. Let's try like this. Oh, gotcha. So the moon in disguise of a water nymph, right? Something like this. She says, Columbus, you want to find the Americans? You want to find the Nagas? Now, remember the old story about Atlantis and, St. Christopher, wanted to worship his king as a god, St. Christopher. Now you got Syphilis, the shepherd, who's really the son of Alcathous, the king of Atlantis, who's being worshipped as a god by St. Christopher. Following a water nymph, man. Let's go. Oh, man, it's too much fun. Right now, this is the victory lap, y'all. We already having our victory lap. Allah, all praise our creator. Yeah, I mean. And this link This is one of those things you got to download, but just, type in Renaissance and Reformation and Columbus PDF. It's going to pop up. You know what I'm saying? Or hit me up if you need it. Oh, man. So within the basic framework, Franz Couture has intricately interwoven the parts. He begins with Columbus, the great-hearted hero, entreating the moon. So Ty Battle gonna love this. She ain't feeling this Phoebe. Aquatai ain't feeling his Phoebe to help him and his crew to find the long hoped for port or portal. We're gonna dig on natural by law, talk about portals and stuff. We're gonna talk about Aether, opians, man. Ethiopians. Ethiopians, man. The bro is phenomenal. Get in the classroom and natural by law, surf the wave. They need her aid because they do not know the way. They are wandering aimlessly. He was lost, so that part was right. He was looking for the greater India. He was lost. He needed the aid of the moon. So remember that drop with the little boy fishing on the moon? And we talked about the DreamWorks drop, Spielberg drop. All right, they're fishing for souls from the moon. The moon is being entreated on. Remember, the moon is also Thoth. Thoth is the sun and the moon. I mean, all this is all one thing. You're talking celestial hijack, the long hope for port. They need her aid because they do not know the way. They are wandering aimlessly. The moon in the guise of a nymph, in the guise of a nymph, right? The moon tells them that their journey's end is near. She directs them through many islands, Amaru Khan, and streams to Ophir. Ophir. So whether you're talking Haiti, whether you're talking the Philippines, whether you're just talking the Americas, or just the golden lands or cities of gold, right? Ophir. Remember, he's Christ of Ophir. He's Christopher. Columbus is Christ of Ophir. Christopher is the promised land. The moon, in the guise of a nymph, brings him to you in the promised land. Wow. So we're going to talk about these portals. We're going to get into some natural by law classroom. We're going to fall back. We just doing a victory lap, my naga. We about to hit Preston John 60 for the real one, Nymph. We just doing a victory lap, my naga. The home team stand up. Real vibration, real nagas that don't switch up, don't change up. We just crystallizing, photosynthesizing, natural by law. What it do, man? Real one from day one. A-Hop to AD, man, for all that HR 666 inspiration. Let's go. A-Hop to the copper-colored dragon for the mathematics, man, to know that all they need is one snitch per every 6666 Nagas. Contact tracing. Man, my Nagas, we got the drop. This is Drop Nation. We just surfing the waves to the promised land. Which wave? We just talking the Aether opians. Christ of Ophir, tapped into the Aether. Got to the promised land. Land of Preston John. My man, love to the family Goggles or Goggles, Gogols 86, who got the drop. We're about to get a nice link that connects all the natural drop. Love to the family Goggles 86, man. So we got this promised land. So the moon, again, and guys, as a nymph, disguised as a nymph, leads this cat to the promised land. All right. Will be the heart of an empire. So you got the dumb diverses, take their kingdoms, dukedoms, principalities, and his owed them as a reward. So they got their own little inter deal going on. They're making deals. The reader soon discovers that Columbus's success, his discovery, is not an unmixed blessing. However, Frascatoro hints at the daring nature of Columbus' quest with an allusion to Catalyst 40 or 64, like the Argonauts. Look to the Templar dropping Jason of the Argonauts for the droplets. We're talking cat dragons. Like the Argonauts in that poem, Columbus is seeing things which no man has seen before. And perhaps just as the catalyst sounds like Kalaluz, this may, remember Kalaluz means promised land, this may be the first step in the path towards man's challenge of the gods. Remember, the gods are afraid of the ether. Love the natural by law. The gods are afraid of the ether. Remember, Thoth can't see beyond the greater light. He can't see past this barrier, right? His disrespect towards them, and thus the beginning at the end of the golden age. Back to the Atlantis, you know what I'm saying? How could this drop? Because, this syphilis is being cursed. He's getting this disease. Because this shepherd, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to worship Apollo. He wants to worship his king as God. Now, who's the king? It's his pops, Alcathous. So the shepherd syphilis, this man called syphilis, gets this, bad rap because he didn't want to worship Apollo. Who's Apollo? Son of Zeus. Who's Apollo? Thoth. Thoth is the trickster. Remember, it's the year of the rat. It's the year of the trickster, right? So they can't hold back right now. They can't hold back. So, hit this drop up again, just type in Renaissance and Reformation. Get more drop on what they used to call the French disease. Now, this Hollywood. We're going to get way more on this. I'm just, this is like a little teaser back into the Guayacum drop. Something called the Holy Tree. Something called the Holy Tree that was the cure or the treatment for syphilis, the guayacum, a tree from which comes a cure for syphilis. So one cure was mercury, right? But mercury damn near killed your ass, made you suffer to get healed. Guayacum was, the peaceful solution. However, guayacum didn't work if you were not righteous. If you weren't righteous, guayacum did not work for you. This tree, this holy tree, also called the Holy Cross, was their salvation from the dog-headedness, the sinus syphilis, the Hollywood. So Hollywood, yes, Hollywood, the holly tree, the spells. At the same time, Hollywood is also the home of the dog-headedness, sinus syphili, who through the power of this guayacum tree are hiding their dog-headedness, their syphilis. But we're going to get back. Like I said, this is just, just letting y'all know that I ain't forgot about the Guayacum drop because a lot of family been asking, for this drop of Columbus following the moon. The moon in guise of a nymph, the moon in guise of a nymph, in guise of a nymph, the wood nymph, the water nymph, bang, bang, the moon in guise of a nymph, directs Colombo through the many islands and streams. So we're going to get on these streams, and just approach it from a dragonfly perspective to Ophir, right? The golden world, the land of the gold, the land of the promise. You're talking about Cathay, the pure land. You're talking about the promised land, the golden age of the golden Nagas, the promised ones. And this moon was coming up straight up hijack, leading Colombo. And it's a couple links I'll drop for you just so you can get ahead. Remember this joint right here from Medicine in the Bible and the Talmud, selections from classical Jewish sources, breaking down right here. Let's see if we can get this part. I don't know if they let us get it bigger or not. It says the plague which befell the children of Israel when they committed harlotry with the daughters of Moab is referred to as Magafah. I can't make this shit up. So we got on the Magafah. We did like a 4-hour drop on this, a term denoting plague, epidemic, infectious disease in general. So Magafaa literally means plague, epidemic. Right now we're in the Magafas, right? The Coroni, the Tenderoni. But this is their version of a Magafaa. Presumably the particular plague was a venereal disease. Now they're saying you can get the Tenderoni, through the semen transfer. Now connecting that with the venereal situation. Remember the AIDS connection to the Tenderoni. Remember they got the little mixture of AIDS, all in this potion. Presumably the particular plague was a venereal disease, probably one resembling syphilis. So the Magafaa is the sign of syphilis. Get all that drop about the dog-headedness. Now they call it Baal, right? So we got the Bays and the L's, the Bays and the L's. We're talking Moab, right? The daughters of Moab. So Numbers 25. Going into the daughters of Moab, you get this Baal. You get the Yaws. Now you got the Yah, right? The Yahs, Yaws, all right? Bays and L's resembling syphilis, all right? So, you got a couple links you can dig on connecting that. We're going to get into this drop right here. Another time as well, Columbus, New World Discovery, narrated by Filson Young. And, of course, we've been connecting this Iberia, Columbus, Spain is called Iberia, and the Spaniards, the Iberi. The Althenium or spirit of the English magazines. All right, this has the shepherd Cephalus. The shepherd Cephalus was employed in watching the herds belonging to Alcathous, king of Atlantis. One season, the rays of summer were so intense that the angry shepherd, impatient under their influence and with many impieties, refused to offer up sacrifices to Apollo. So this is what pissed off Apollo and what made him get cursed with the sign of Cephalus, or the dog-headedness. And in revenge erected an altar to his master Alcathous. Now you'll read that the shepherd Syphilis, that's his pops, Alcathous, king of Atlantis, Alcathous. So he wanted to worship his pops over the god of Atlantis, this Apollo, son of Zeus, also thought, all the same thing, Mercury. Stung with indignity, Apollo infected the air with such nauseous vapors, right? So now we got everybody wearing masks, and that shepherd contracted a dangerous and nauseous disease which affected his whole body. His various attempts to conquer his malady constitute the principal argument of this poem. And it goes into this woods of Media, Babylon situation. So, there's a little backstory that we're going to touch back when we talk about the guaiaca. This is from NCBI. Initially, the treatment of syphilis included less efficient methods that were accompanied by pain and multiple adverse reactions, taking into consideration that the disease was associated with the discovery of the American continent, but they already had the dog-headedness in Europe. So in reality, they found the cure over here, which is their salvation, the holy tree, holy cross. That's their towel. Let's go. Numerous treatments included plants brought from the New World, such as the guaiac tree, Guaiac. Look it up. Or guaiacum officinale, known also as sassafras or willow salix, which led to the widest recognition at the time. These plants acted as purgative agents, led to sudoration, diarrhea, and to increase in urinary depth, and were believed to be blood cleansers. One of the main supporters of the guaiac tree utilization in treatment of syphilis, and in the time of Ardupus, opponent of mercury treatment. So mercury treatment was the other. So Thoth said, come to me, I got you. But that was damn near killing a nigga, all right? It was causing immense pain and torture. A former priest, Ulrich von Hutten, described in detail the manifestations of the disease as well as the symptoms of mercury intoxication. All right, so you don't want that Thoth intoxication based on his own experience as a sufferer from the disease. So he had the sinus of folly. From the guaiac tree of deconction was made, The resulted potion was boiled, and the patient was assumed to consume the mixture daily for 30 days. 30 days with the guaiac, 30 days with the guaiacum, 30 days with the indigenous potion, right? The indigenous plant. Before drinking the potion, the patient was covered in blankets in order to induce perspiration, and a mild purgative was also administered. So you got this guaiac tree popping up, and this was an opponent of the mercury treatment for the sufferers of the cynocephalus, dog-headedness. All right, man. We're just taking, I'm just showing y'all that this ain't no play. We're going to tiptoe towards this natural by law. We're going to get this from Gogo's 86 as well for the dismount. But in order to, surf this wave, right? You see all this waveage, right? You see all these pathways. Let's first get some of the good bro, natural by law. Make sure you get in the classroom. We're belly flopping right here at the hour mark, hour 6 minute mark. All right, get the drop. Let go.
All right, you see how this is all interlinked. All right, this is all interlinked. It goes right back to what we was digging on. We was talking about gas.
Uh-oh.
How your melanin converts this gas into chemical energy. They call that chemical energy chaotic, when really we're just talking about the ether. Right? Which, according to the ancient Greeks, when you dodge y'all hijacks, is what they're referring to as a god. All right? And when you get the drop before last, letting you know how this melanin is a gift from the Creator. All right? And we're just talking about the breath as charge. So this ether, all right? This ether being a divine entity of some nature, to the mythology of the ancient Greeks, all right? Which also means to burn or to shine, which is also the root word or the root breakdown today, all right? Ether. All right? Now, why am I digging on this? Because what do they refer to you as the natural ones? I mean, there's tons of names. Pretty sure there are tons of terms you can think of. But this one that I'm about to pitch to you, I'm sure you haven't seen or heard of like this, right? Which is why I brought you in the direction that I brought you in. But off the topic, off the surface, right? Off top, especially, from the conception of this corporation, these foreign entities and these people alike, they were referring to you and to everyone else as Ethiops.
Uh-oh.
Right? AKA an Ethiopian. What is the etymology to Ethiopian?
Come on, man.
Negro. You see it for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Ethiopian. Ethiops. All right? Etymology from Aether. Aether, right? Which means what? To burn.
Bang.
To burn.
And y'all thought it was just about being dark-skinned? Natural by law got the water. That got the water. Damn. Damn. We talking fiery looking, my naga. We're talking Dracan Quam, my naga. And if you're sunburned, then you got plenty of soul, my naga. We're talking Aether, Ethiopians. Come on, man.
Face. What they want to refer to as the burnt face, right? But when we really get into it, it's just fiery looking.
Bang.
Or sunburn. But it's not really a sunburn because we don't burn in the sun, right? It's fiery looking. And the face burns because of the ether. Do you hear it? The ether? The Ethiop? You got Ethiop, you got ether. Nah, you still not with me? Let's take it further. Right? We're talking about Ethiopia, Ethiop, Abyssinia. We're just talking Prester John.
Bang.
We're just talking Kung Fu Master, fresh up in the dojo. Ethiop, to burn, the burnt face. The ether. Alright? When you're digging Ethiopia, right? Ethiops, Ethiopia. When we're digging on the ether, you see the same root word right here. You see it? You see it? It's the same word. So the term is really what? Ether. Ethiopian. Ethiopian. The ether.
Wow.
Ether.
Wow.
Alright?
Get him, man.
The ether ones. The etherical ones. That's really what we're digging on. Right? I mean, when we pull it up, right? Are you not as children of the Ethiopians unto me? Alright? Are you not as the children of Ethiopians unto me?
Wow.
Hmm?
And this whole time you thinking they talking about people that ain't you, right? African, this is Ethiopia. Nah, my naga. Go recon The Selling of Joseph by Samuel Sewall. And you'll see that when he got to America, he was talking about the Ethiopians in America. Why? Because you're the Aether opians. You're the fiery ones. You're the fiery ones, man. Love the natural. We're going to get a little more of this, but I'm just letting you know, my naga, you're the fiery ones, man. Hey, Hob Nat. You're the fiery ones, man. You're the Chacons, right? You're the cons. You're the Gon. You're the con. This is con. You're the fierce, violent, male, female. Violent? Why? Because of your fire. You're the fiery ones. The fiery man. The fiery female woman is a dragon. That's why you're the con. That's why you're the Khan. That's why, my Naga. That's why you see clearly. It's all about having that deadly glance, right? That fiery glance, like the bro's bringing out, man. Love to the bro, natural by law, so that you can see clearly. It's the one with the deadly glance. What is Ethiop? Go back for a second, man. Let's go back for a second. Actually, let's go forward. He's digging with etymology, right? He's digging on Ethiopian. I love it, man. I love it. He's digging on Ethiop, 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 the fiery looking. And I'm asking you, what does the fiery looking one have to do with the fiery, with the fiery, with the fiery, with the fiery meteors, man? Who's the meteor? What fiery persons are we talking about? What fiery people, man? What's it got to do with the meteor? Right? We see all these meteors, incoming meteor. The meteor is the dragon. The meteor is the fierce, luminous body appearance flying, floating in the atmosphere. Meteor. These meteor-like flames lawless through the sky. Because they don't, they no comprendo. The law of the creator, the fiery law. The bro keeps mentioning Prester John, right? Prester. Who's the Prester? Oh, the Prester is the meteor, my Naga. With such violence, a collision set on fire. We're talking dracons, man. Don't you coon by now? Don't you coon by now? The meteor is the Prester. The meteor is the dragon. Is the Prester. Is the Quetzalcoatl. Is the Hawashua. Ain't no dragon gonna be telling you to turn the other cheek. That's why we're saying that new test is a new tune. But Samuel Sewall already told you this in the selling of Joseph when he's looking for Ethiopians. Ethiop. Because the Prester is the meteor and the meteor is the dragon. I said the meteor is the dragon. Is the male, female, right? The fierce one, the fiery ones. In your own time, just look up Selling of Joseph, PDF, Samuel Sewall. There we go right there, man. And we might have a bit of this in the library. Love to let us find the truth. Who first dropped this on the tribe, man, a little while back. In real time, man. In battle time. And there's different, transcripts you can bring up to dig on it. Excuse me, I got the ghetto bird over my crib. This is actually a good one. We actually belly flopped in the good one. See if we can get it bigger, though. We're talking Ethiopians, and I'm going to get a little more natural. We're going to get a nice little dismount into some real imperative drop that's connected with the ether, man, the ether. And I'm in Inglewood, so I got the ghetto bird over my crib. You know how that go. We're talking Ethiopia, right? We're talking Ethiopia, so pull up this. We're talking the Niger, right? Now, again, this is Samuel Sewall. It's called The Selling of Joseph. So we know we're talking to Ibaru, all right? And he's supposed to be an abolitionist that's against slavery. And he's telling you that these are the sons of Adam. It is most certain that all men, as they are the sons of Adam, are co-heirs and have rights of liberty. Okay. Well, let's make sure he's talking about us. Let's make sure he's talking about the Ethiopian. And it's not too much, it's not too long to read this joint to get this drop. Let's see where he's talking about this, man. Let's go. Let's go, man. I'm on page 4. There's only 5 pages, like I said. Let's read this paragraph and get back to natural. It is observable that the Israelites, this is in 1700, talking about America. Anybody telling you to leave America, to go somewhere else to connect with the Creator, it's motherfucking tripping. Because we have to go out of our way to pull up Love to Let Us Find the Truth, the selling of Joseph, along with many other docs letting you know that Columbus came here seeking the promised land. So we ain't got to cross no seas to find nothing connected to our promise. It is observable that the Israelites were strictly forbidden the buying and selling of another for slaves, and Hawa gauged his blessing in lieu of any loss they might concede there they suffered thereby. Deuteronomy 15:18. And since the partition wall is broken down, we're going to talk about these pathways in the firmament, opening up the crystal firmament. Inordinate self-love should likewise be demolished. Hawa expects that Christians should be of a more ingenious and benign frame of spirit. Why these Christians got to be these murderers, hanging niggas on trees, right? Christians should carry it to all the world as the Israelites were to carry it to another. See, Israelites weren't to carry this to the world. Israelites were to carry it to one another, my naga. And for men obstinately to persist in holding their neighbors and brethren under the rigor of perpetual slavery, right? Bondage, Doom Diverses, 1452, Papa Boo, look it up. Seems to be no proper way of gaining assurance that Hawa has given them spiritual freedom. Someone asked me in my DM, hey, Drop, do you believe in heaven? What's heaven? I said, heaven is when my Nagas can roam their land free with no static, no hijacks. Raise their children, rock with their tribe. That's heaven, my Naga. Can we ever attain it? Our blessed Savior, who's blessed Savior, right? Because he's rocking with the Christians. So he's talking Jesus now, right? Zeus, Apollo, right? Our blessed Savior has altered the measures of the ancient love song. Right in our face. This is the selling of Joseph, 1700, my nugget. Samuel Sewall, abolitionist, finds a bunch of Hebrews or Israelites and says that they brought their energy to alter the measure of our ancient love song. So their blessed Savior, who we call, or our family today calls Yahweh Shai, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, New Testament, please believe in this Jesus to know your Creator, that Savior, right? Joshua means Savior. God saves. Must be Yahweh Shai. If you don't know Yahweh Shai, you can't know God. Oh, da, 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 da. That Savior, right, has altered the measures of our ancient love song. That's why there's an interference pattern. And that's why we're no hijacks allowed. Because we believe in preserving our ancient love song and set it to a most excellent new tune. Fuck the excellence. It's a new tune, though. And anybody acting new out of nowhere has submitted, has bent the knee to the new tune. And we in Drop Nation believe in preserving Hawa, the ancient love song, before their Savior altered the measures of it, changed the measures, the time, the laws, the chronology, and gave us a new tune or a new testimony, which ought to be ambitious of learning. Hijack City. Now listen, this connects back to the natural by law drop. These Ethiopians, these Aethiopians, as black as they are, seeing that they are the sons and daughters of the first Adam, and brethren and sister of the last Adam, and the offspring of Hawa, they ought to be treated with respect, agreeable. So you come over here as an abolitionist of slavery in America and you say, these Ethiopians, as black as they are, sons of the daughters of the first Adam, all right, and the last Adam. Who's that? We got Noah, right? Who repopulates. Noah repopulates. You got Ham, Shem, Japheth, right? So that's the last Adam, Noah. First Adam is Adam. Or, you can break it down other ways. Offspring of Hawa, I think we all see clearly. We're talking about the children of Israel, the Israelites, who had their, ancient love song re-altered, remeasured by their Isus, their Yahweh, their Yeshua, right? We have our own Joshua. Our own Joshua rocks in that Drakan frequency. You dig? So we're talking the ancient love song. Because ain't no dragon telling you to turn the other cheek, my nigga. Yeah. That would be a new tune and a new testimony. Con. We want spiritual freedom. This is the selling of Joseph. 1700s. 1700s, right. Okay. Natural by law. Ahab, bro. Take the wheel.
Are you not? Ethiopians, right?
They've
always referred to you as the Ethiopians, the ether phase. The ether phase. Alright, the ether phase, to burn. To shine. That which is the firmament of the upper air. Which is why the angles of light got Thoth in the panic, right? The ether ones, the etheric ones, right? Ether, Ethiop, ether. It's been here the entire time, right? Samuel Sewell.
Oh. Hey, man. I ain't even, I'm watching this with y'all. I literally am belly flopping. And this bro goes to the same drop. Samuel Sewell, selling of Joseph, man. So you got the link. Go ahead and pull it up. So you got this drop. Love to let us find the truth. And he just brought up Thoth and the angels. Thoth had to move in circular patterns with little known angles to outrun the angels that were moving in angles, the Drakans, the hounds of the barrier that were protecting the greater light, protecting the crystal barrier, that's keeping the hijack out. He's talking the emerald tablets, where Thoth says, I can't see beyond the greater light. Let's see if we can just belly flop right in there. This is book one. This might be book one. Let's see. Make sure. Yeah, man. Gotta dodge this hijack, man. All right, I descended the dark way, led into the light. Many times I ascended. All right, man of Kim. Got you, Thought. We hear you, man. We hear you. Dig on this, man. We did a whole series on it, man. So that's why I'm just belly flopping. We did a whole series, man. I gotta connect this greater light situation. Over the world, then broke the great waters, drowning, sinking, changing Earth's balance. So we got Atlantis popping off. Atlantis is seeking, I gathered. Entered the shit with the master. Upward we roll. So he left Atlantis, right? He left America suddenly over the waters, vanished from the earth until it disappeared, or until the time appointed was the great temple. Fast we fled toward the son of the morning. Son of the morning. Who's the son of the morning, all right? Until beneath to us lay the land of the children of Kim. Now you in Africa. Now you in Kemet. Raging they came with cudgels. So the indigenous Cometians were hijack free. They raged towards this Atlantis hijack with cudgels and spears to destroy Thoth. So he don't even belong there. Lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. So there was a war about to pop off with the children of Kim and the sons of Atlantis. Oh, but then I raised my staff and directed a ray of vibration. So now we're under this frequency, right? It's a frequency war, striking them in their tracks as fragments of stones of the mountain. Stone of the mountain. Then I spoke in words, calm and peaceful, telling them about the might of Atlantis. So he indoctrinated them while they were under this ray of vibration. I'm telling you, it's a frequency war. Long dwelt we in the land of Kim until long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the master while sleep yet lives eternally. I sent from me the sons of Atlantis, sent them in many directions. Cowed I them by my display of magic science. So he just put his magic trickery, talked calm and peaceful, talked about peace. And then, here comes the hijack rays of vibration. Then I carved a circular passage. I'm looking for this thoughts moving in circular patterns. Let's go to the table of contents. Let's check out book 6. I know we dropped a few of these drafts, man. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Because, folks be making their pathways. And they really look to something, you know what I'm saying, so that they can be free, of this hijack, all around us. But you got to be careful what hijack you fall into, man. We call that the black hole in real time. Place you a circle around thee, stand erect in the midst of the circle, use this formula and you shall be free. I mean, our people just want to be free. But you got to take your, choose up with your path to freedom. This whole space time that we're about to get on right now. I'm just, just surfing away with y'all, man. We're just talking about the vibration, belly flopping in the emerald tablets. And you can dig on, all this in your own time, man, if you want to know more about it. Conquer must be the formless and the shapeless. Yeah, man, it's been a minute since we dropped on this. Which book was that drop, man? Which book was that drop? Let's just try to figure this out right quick. I really want to see this again. And, it's been, right about time. Right about time for us to get back and, connect these things anyway. We've been talking about that Alcatraz drop. And it's a lot to dig on. It's a lot to drop on. The Dweller, man. I mean, all this is going to give you the drop. The key to wisdom. Key of wisdom. Mysteries of the cosmos. Everything with thought has everything to do with the cosmos and nothing beyond it, man. Nothing beyond it. Hey, belly flopping with thought. Belly flopping and thought is a motherfucker, man. You want to bake your noodle, man. Belly flopping the emerald tablets, man. Ah, man. I don't think it was book one, because I know we had kicked a couple of different books that we're talking about. And some of you already know, man. Come on, drop, you know what I mean? You already got the book up. I'm going to get there. Hold up. This is the one we started with. Okay, this is book one. You're just breaking down the voyage. I don't think it was book one talking about the circular patterns, man. You already know, though. You already know. I'm going to catch up to y'all. I told y'all, man. In it, I built my knowledge of magic science. So we're just talking about the halls of Amente. So back to that revelation situation with this Abaddon, Apollyon coming with the, to get the keys to the bottomless pit. You're just talking about the halls of Amente. You dig? This is Thoth. This is Atlas. This is all that situation. Now these hounds of the barrier, man. Let's see. Let's check out the dweller, man. Belly flop. Uh-huh. Out of the ether called he its substance. Uh-oh, we talking that ether, man. Okay. Molded and formed by the power of Yotalan. Something like that. Talan almost. Into the forms he built with his hand. Mile upon mile it covered the island. Space upon space it grew in his mouth. Man, look. Belly flopping into the emerald tablets. Some of the coldest piece of work you could do, man. Noodle baker at all time, man. All right, dweller, 5-5. Come on, man. Come on, man. Mastered out his cycles. Oh, man, I feel like I'm getting close. Fast fled his soul back to his body. He rose again. Called he the three mighty messengers, gave the... So he's fleeing. He saw Atlanteans by their magic opening the gateway that would bring to Earth a great woe. All right, we're going to talk about some portals, some gateways. I'm just belly flopping into the Emerald Tablet. Fell from the light. Oh, man. Atlantis, the ocean of waves roll, holding the light through hidden in darkness, ready to come when air should call. Then I mastered the cycles. Okay. He chose the three from the highest to become his links with Atlantis, messengers, they who carried his counsel. So we're talking the dweller. Right? This dweller is choosing his three, right? Okay. All right, we're getting close to that Hounds of the Barrier drop. Definitely getting close to it. Because we're talking about some of these cycles. Choosing the pathway to the lords of the cycles. All right. I need to find it anyway, so, it's going to be worth it. It's worth it to me, man. It's worth it. Now, how far did I get in this? I know I didn't read all these. Key to above, below, key to death, key to freedom, key to the mysteries. Tablet 8. Let's belly flop. Forth came they into the cycle, formless they were of another vibration, existing unseen by the children of earth men. Only through blood could they have been formed. Back up, man. What's it say? Far in the past, before Atlantis existed, men there were who delved into darkness using dark magic. So before Atlantis, I mean, we still had Mu, we still had Lemuria, calling up beings from the great deep below us. So somebody was breaking this partition. That gets back into the spirit science and, these Moors on Mars, man, that were doing all this magic, breaking through this, causing this dimensional tear. For came they into the cycle, formless they were of another vibration, existing unseen by the children of earth, men only through blood could they have formed being. So they had to be born. Only through man could they live in the world. Who's this? In ages past, they were conquered. They conquered by masters driven below to the place whence they came. But some there were who remained hidden in spaces and plains unknown to man. Lived they in Atlantis as shadows, but as times they appeared among men. When the blood was offered, for they came to dwell among men. So you got these sacrifices so that these energies that existed in Atlantis as shadows. I mean, we getting deep. we getting deep. We back in the ether with that, man. I'm just looking for some cycle drop, man, with thought. Belly flopping, man. Oh, man. Did we find it in Tablet 8, my noggin, man? Hey, patience pays off, man. Only in the ether, man, because they can't fuck with it. Let's go. Listen, you old man, to the depth of my wisdom speak I of knowledge hidden from man. For I have been on my journey through space-time, even to the end of space of this cycle, glimpsed the hounds of the barrier. Now, these are the dragons that are protecting the firmament, lying in wait for he who would pass them in that space where time exists not. There ain't no time, only the wave. Which wave, right? We're just surfing the wave. Faintly, I sense the guardians of the cycles. Where's the guardian? Where's the guardians, my naga? Where's the wall of protection? Where's the hounds? See, the hounds are not the dogs. The hounds are not the tan. It's the tannin, right? It's the dracons, the guardians of the cycles. Guardians are angels, right? Guardian angels. Angels move in angles. Let's go. Move they only through angles. Free are they not of the curved dimensions. So Thoth has to move in curved patterns that have little known angles to outrun the angels or the guardians or the dracons of the barrier. Let's go. Strange and terrible are the hounds of the barrier. Follow they consciousness to the limits of space. So the dragons follow consciousness to the limits of space. Think not to escape by entering your body, for follow they fast the soul through angles. Only the circle will give you protection, save you from the claws of the dwellers in angles or the dragons, the guardians. You want to be saved from the claws of the fire of the dragons? You want protection? You got to fuck with that circle, right? Which one? Once in times past, I approached the great barrier and saw the shores where time exists not, the formless forms and the dragons of the barrier hiding in the midst beyond time. I found them, and they, scenting me far off, raised themselves and gave a great bell cry. So the dragons of the barrier sensed Thoth, all right, sensed the hijack, raised up, they coon, right? They raised up and gave a roar, right? Gave a great cry, right? When dracons cry, right? Love to yourself. That could be heard from cycle to cycle and move through space toward my soul. Fled I then fast before them, back from time's unthinkable end. But ever after me pursued they, moving in strange angles not known to man. So they were moving, these dragons were moving in angles not known to anybody. And the gray shores of time space end, and I and I, the hounds of the barrier. So A, on the gray shores of time spaces in, found I the hounds of the barrier, ravening for the soul who attempts the beyond. What's beyond? This is what Thoth can't fuck with. This is what Thoth can't get beyond. This is the greater light. This is Hawa. This is where you come from. So don't get caught up in their magic sciences and their celestial magic bullshit. You come from the beyond. This is the uh the quicksilver, the unknown origin, right? Right. This is that black Drago drop. When we're talking about the alchemy, the alchemical dragon versus the alchemical serpent, right? So you got Thoth. Thoth is the serpent, right? The salamander, the serpent, often represents the impersonal nature of the unconscious. That's not the dragon. It's the serpent. It's the Thoth. It's the celestial trying to figure things out, trying to figure out what's beyond the greater light as it bursts into consciousness, right? This is the serpent represents everything from the monstrous snake to the cosmic serpent. So this is the Thothism. This is ordinary Mercury. This is the mercurial situation representing androgyny. It brings everything to life, but also kills everything. What does it say? Bring everything to life, but also kills everything. Now you got the dragon, so you know that the serpent can't be the dragon. So who's the serpent? Who's the trickster? Because that's not the dragon. The dragon's getting a bad rap because the alchemical dragon represents the philosophical quicksilver. Unlike Mercury, my noggin, the philosophical quicksilver is the mysterious substance of unknown origin. We're talking a living spirit being extracted. We're talking the vessel in which the spirit is contained. That's the Ruach, right? It's the mysterious substance of unknown origin, my naga. That's the dragon. The fierce or violent person towards the hijack is the mysterious substance of unknown origin who attempts the beyond, ravening for the soul. The dragon ravens for the souls who attempts the beyond. The what? Beyond. The unknown origin. The dragon. Let go. For the dismount fled I through circles back to my body, fled and fast after me they followed. After me the devourers followed, the dragons followed, seeking through angles to devour my soul. No, you man, the soul who dares the barrier may be held in bondage by the dragons from beyond time, held till this cycle is completed and left beyond. When the consciousness leaves, they're going to hold you for life. So Thoth had to create the circles that know not angles, create the form that from my form was formed, made my body into a circle, and lost the pursuers, lost the dragons in the circle of time. But even yet, when free from my body, cautious ever I must be, not to move through angles, or else my soul may never be free. Know you that these dragons of the barrier move only through angles and never through curves of space. Only by moving through curves can you escape them, for in angles they will pursue you. My naga, this is what? Heed my warning. Thoth is going crazy and saying, please don't get your ass caught up. Seek not to break open the gate to beyond the unknown origin, right? Few there are who have succeeded in passing the barrier. We're going to talk about them getting through the barrier and when this thing opens up to get through to the what? Greater light that shines beyond. The greater light, Managa, is the dragon, is the mysterious substance of unknown origin. We're talking a greater light, man. Natural, man. For the dismount, take the wheel.
Referring to the natural ones of the land, right? On this side, as the Ethiopians, all right, being the sons and daughters of the first Adam. Alright?
Hmm.
These Ethiopians, or these Ether opians. Ether. Alright? Ether ones. You know? Because it's always coming back to you. Alright? It's always coming back to you. They found you sitting right here. Alright? Which is why, you know, Samuel Sewall was referring to you as such. Right? Because everywhere they went, they saw the ether faces, or the faces of ether. Right? They called you Ethiopian everywhere. Right? Now, we got a little bit of this in the last one. You know, but this is the Ramals. And the Ramals, they were the first root race of the so-called Atlantean Lemurian land. Right?
Almost sounds like Roman, right? The pomegranate, the promised land.
And as you can see, it ranges from what they want to refer to as 1 million to 800,000, and so on and so on. It says that Atlantis extended from a few degrees of east of Iceland to about the site now occupied by Rio de Janeiro. It embraced Texas and the Gulf of Mexico, the southern and eastern states of America, the Labrador, and the area from there to Ireland, Scotland, and a small portion of the north of England. It also reached from Brazil to the African Gold Coast.
Now notice how they're, going from southeast over, or Brazil over here. You know what I mean? I haven't seen them include Cali in this yet, but remember, Cali is connected to the Pacific, or Lemuria, or Mu. So they got to be careful when saying how far Atlantis is reaching. You know what I'm saying? Because Atlantis is the hijack that's hijacking you.
The second map period shows the distribution of land after the first great catastrophe about 800,000 years ago in the Miocene age. Much of the north of the continent was submerged, and the rest much rent. The growing American continent was separated by a chasm from the remainder of Atlantis, which then occupied the bulk of the Atlantic basin from about 50 degrees north latitude to a few degrees south of the equator. Considerable subsidences and upheavals in other parts of the world also took place. The British Isles, for example, forming part of a huge island embracing the Scandinavian peninsula, the north of France, all the intervening, and some of the surrounding seas. Oh, that's all they're going to give us?
You know how they do. We know how they do supernatural, man, but we talking about the Romani, right? Oh, man, love the supernatural, man. Go ahead and get in the classroom of natural by law. Yeah, I mean, let's make sure we good on time here, man, for a double dismount. A double dismount. We still good? All right, man, let's make a double dismount. Love to Goggles or Goggles 86. It's a quick drop, 15 minutes or so, but get a few minutes of it. Now we got the drop on the ether. Now, why do gods fear space in Dungeons and Dragons? Let's connect it all the way from our wave surfers. Why do they fear space, right? Why is Thoth afraid of the greater light that shines beyond? Few there who have succeeded in passing the barriers. Remember Thoth, again. I found hounds of the barrier, dragons ravening for the soul who attempts the beyond. So they're afraid to go beyond. I mean, he tried to look beyond, right? I glimpsed the hounds of the barrier lying in wait for he that would pass them. These are the guardians of the cycle. Open your mouth and use the voice, utter the word, and it shall be free. So you got to use the cross and the circle. This is why they use that arc, right? That cross and circle, because when you have entered the form thou has dwelt in, when you go back to your body, use this arc, use this cross and the circle, combine, open your mouth, use the voice, utter the word, right? So they have a secret word to utter into this arc, right? To help them, flee the dragons that are chasing us through the time cycles, through the cycles. They gotta put their body in a circle somehow, man, to get some unknown angles. Even Thoth is running from this. So by the time you run towards Thoth, remember there's dragons yelling at Thoth that can be heard, from cycle to cycle. Now, Thoth said, I approached the great barrier. I saw the shores where time exists not, the formless forms of the hounds of the barrier, the formless. So these dragons are etheric, ether, right? They are formless. We're just talking about our framer and our shaper. Why in Psalms 18 does Hawa come down with fire out of his mouth, smoke out of his nose, flying on the wings of the wind? What wind, man? The formless ones, man. Connected all. He approached the great barrier. Again, we're just talking about the greater light. Few there are who have succeeded in passing the barrier to the greater light that shines beyond. The greater light. Got it. Let's get this double dismount. Again, get in the classroom of the bro. Natural, by, law, all day, man. Surfing the wave. Let go.
The universe of Dungeons and Dragons is an ocean of worlds inside crystal spheres. But outside the crystal spheres, the ocean itself is composed of nothing but a rainbow ether called the phlogiston. This phlogiston sometimes forms rivers between the worlds that break.
Whoa, you're saying a lot. Spacey. Alright, you're saying a lot. So the phlogiston, alright, they're calling it, is this ether field, alright, that's connecting these these pathways, alright. Now this is connected to back to Columbus following the moon, following the nymph, right? She has to guide him using the ether pathways to find the Nagas. Right, let's go.
Brave captains used to sail the vast emptiness of existence, but the gods fear this gassy ether. The question is, why?
What is it?
The term actually has two meanings. It is either the space between the crystal spheres that houses the worlds, or the actual gassy ether that covers it all. Either way, technically speaking, they are all and the same.
So the phlogiston is the ether. Let's go.
This ether, or as some would call it, ethereal fluid, is actually quite harmless to living creatures, and in fact, you wouldn't quite feel much different going from space to the phlogiston or otherwise. The density of this ether fluctuates in the vast void, forming rivers and currents between worlds that many sailors use to increase their speeds in their travels.
Whoa. They're going back and forth from, this fandom Dungeons and Dragons to reality. So let's get that back. So the sailors that are navigating, especially, from their world, all right, have to connect with their gods to get certain winds, right? These winds are the ether so that they can get there faster, right? Now, we have expert navigators from our world that already had the drop. They had to get the drop later. We're talking a more on more war.
The density of this ether fluctuates in the vast void, forming rivers and currents between worlds that many sailors use to increase.
Rivers and currents between worlds. How do you get to our world? You got to surf the wave. You got to find the river and currents, right, to break down the partition, the wall.
Their speeds in their travels. Generally speaking, the bigger the ship, the faster it will go in this current. Since
same as on our ocean, right? The bigger the ship, they put their sails out.
The more contact area in touch with the ether, the faster you will go.
So the ether is the wind, my nigga. But we would just call it wind. They would call it ether.
Why ships that travel between the worlds use sails and wings. That is to increase their contact area with the phlogiston.
Come on.
The rivers flow in different directions, which means it is actually important for star shards and sailors to know where they are going. Since
so they got to navigate with the stars. They got to know where they're going based on these stars to surf this ether river.
Go against the current would slow you down immensely. It is not uncommon for long voyages to last months, but if you were to be unfortunate enough to pick the wrong current, that very same voyage might take you years. As a substance, it is extremely interesting because there is no physical or magical way of reproducing it, and quite frankly, nobody knows what it is made.
Right, quick.
Extremely interesting because there is no
This map, man, I know it just seemed like some bullshit, but this might be a whole lot of drop when it comes to the so-called stars and the connection with their, they got their chronos, you know what I mean? They got different things connected. This might be more drop than we think, you know what I mean? Connected with what they're calling the ether. Let's go.
Fortunate enough to pick
because we are just talking worlds beyond the pole.
Wrong current, that very same voyage might take you years. As a substance, it is extremely interesting because there is no physical or magical way of reproducing it, and quite frankly, nobody knows what it is made out of. It is not composed of any material or any element known to any world, and whenever
unknown substance, right? Dracon, greater light.
It is tried to be brought inside of a crystal sphere, it simply vanishes without a trace. The crystal shells that houses every single world are particularly designed to prevent this ether from ever entering, and the
crystal shell, we're just talking firmament.
They do this job very well. The shells cannot be pierced, cracked, or broken by any known magic or weapon, and furthermore cannot be harmed or manipulated by any god.
The shell can also be the scales of the great leviathans that cannot be penetrated by any missile or anything else. That's what they're trying to nuke in the 40s with Operation Fishbowl. Firmament.
The only way through a crystal shell is through portals. Natural portals open every so often on the shell.
So do natural portals in the firmament open every so often? Can they get through the firmament? Based on certain, times and whatever. But again, Thoth is afraid of this, right? The gods are afraid of the ether. Thoth can't get past the greater light. He gets chased by the hounds of the barrier. Jakan Kwan.
That allow passage from one side to the other, and personal portals can also be opened using magic, though these portals do not let the phlogiston through. It is actually these portals that make the sky look like constellations.
Portals? You think they're just showing you the Great Rift for nothing?
And stars. All of this being said, the reality is that nobody knows what the phlogiston is. And while on that topic, nobody knows who created it and what its purpose actually is.
Wow, perhaps just to keep the hijack out.
Nobody knows who created the shells that keep the phlogiston out or what kind of power keeps it from breaking.
Let's get it.
There are, of course, many dangers that exist within the depths of the phlogiston, but the ether itself can be quite harmful if precautions are not made before interacting with it. The key element of the phlogiston in this regard is that it is extraordinarily flammable. Any fire sparked within the phlogiston will result in a fiery explosion at its origin of at least 3 times the size of the original flame. A single candle will result in your hand being burnt. A lantern will result in your whole arm being burned. An oil flask being lit will result in half your body being burnt.
So check it. You got dragon fire, right? But you got dragons with different elements of this fire. And perhaps the dragons that are guarding the barrier have a certain type of fire, plasma, laser, whatever you want to call it, that is not flammable. Maybe this dragon fire works and their hijacked dragon fire doesn't. That's why they can't come up in this greater light like that. They can't roll up in it. None of their firepower is going to work. No firepower is going to work, my noggin. So when you see them trying to nuke the firmament, you see that shit just, you know what I'm saying, pretty much, imploding damn near because they can't penetrate the greater light. Not with their hijack. They need to step up their fire game.
A fireball spell being attempted will result in the spell going off at its origin, which in this case is on you, for 3 times the damage and 3 times the radius. Because of this property of the phlogiston, all fires are extinguished before entering the flow, and instead, the use of magical light or natural sources will have to be used. Another property of the phlogiston that is quite unique is what happens to those who run out of breathable air and suffocate within its ethereal fluid. Those that do enter into a state of suspended animation where their skin turns stone-like.
Now, how does this relate to the so-called giants and mud fossil and, shout out to the homie Sibs on Insta, these stone, petrified type of figures looking like giant people or dragons. And how did they turn into stone? Just listen up. I mean, maybe this is a clue.
Is what happens to those who run out of breathable air and suffocate within its ethereal fluid. Those that do enter into a state of suspended animation where their skin turns stone-like and the person becomes incapacitated. Revival is almost instantaneous the second that the suspended individual somehow finds itself inside a new pocket of air.
Whoa, so when the ether or when the air quality, remember they cut down all the trees, what was the ether like before, right? And when that ether left or when that air left, they had no breathable air. I mean, they're from a higher dimension or a higher level or higher octave. They can't breathe this bullshit. But when the ether comes back, those same stone situations get revived, my nigga. You hear that shit?
Air and suffocate within its ethereal fluid. Those that do enter into a state of suspended animation where their skin turns stone-like and the person becomes incapacitated. Revival is almost instantaneous the second that the suspended individual somehow finds itself inside a new pocket of air, where the skin will go back to normal and the effects will end.
The effects will end, man. So this is just a spell. With less air, you have less ether, and they can do their magic with more air, with more trees, with more ether for the Ethiopians, love to the bro natural by law, with more oxygen, with more breath, with more wow, right? With more hawa, right? With more hawa. Where's that chart I was digging on, man? Where's my chart, man, that I was digging on, man? That's it. With more Hawa, there we go. Hawa, right? Your mama got her arms raised, giving you that breath. Your papa gives you that security, that Hawa. Then you can get your food, you get your zan, your nourishment. That's what we all need. First, you needed that strong power to enter the house so you can gather, my naga, and walk together through a portal so that we can get our breath of security. And with that breath comes the revitalization, man, the revitalizing of the whole earth plane, because all we needed was that pocket of air. All praise Allah for the wisdom. All praise Allah for the flow and for the soul glow. And we come to our creator directly with no hijacks allowed. Wow.